So I saw the video that Chad over there at Green Acres did about his guy, about the guy that he was trying out. What kind of, I mean, you know, and me and him are trying to tell, you know, everybody, you know, the signs that we're seeing, that he was seeing, the same exact thing I see in, well, just about every employee I've ever had out here. So back to Chad and his and the employee that made the decision for him. And that happens a lot. When these guys, when they come out and they're telling you little white lies that anybody with any common sense is gonna know that those little white lies are gonna come out. You know, like, I don't know, not having a ride, especially when it comes to a ride, a phone, or driver's license. Those three things are the major indicators of what an employee is all about. If he doesn't have a ride and he's not driving somebody else's vehicle to work, then he probably don't have a license. Probably. If you never see him driving a vehicle anywhere, then he probably doesn't have a license. I'm just saying. So, and then you go back to what he says too, which you just can't get too caught up into what an unemployed guy says when he's trying to get a job. You know, because they'll tell you anything just to get some money in their pocket. Because 9 times out of 10, you know, they need a job, number one, and they probably owe their folks, or, you know, all the personal stuff that ain't none of my business. They probably got pressure from everybody, you know, hey, you need to get to work, man. You know, you need to go find a job doing something, making something, you know. And then the employee or potential employee's hope is they can come out here, make a few grand, and maybe, you know, if they're thinking of the mindset, they're trying to get their license back, or trying to get their car out of the shop, or whatever, you know. You like to think that that's what they would do, but a lot of times the reason they're in that spot is because they don't do what they're supposed to do with their money. So, you know, that's that too. And all of these are small indicators, and then a lot of little things that so much that I can't even really put in a video when you're on the job and stuff. And, you know, a lot of guys, me included, think, well, man, hiring him was just a waste of time. Well, it was to a certain degree, but not as much as you might think, because if I hired him and brought him on, I ain't put him on payroll, right? So I don't have no clerical stuff going on with him. He ain't driving my truck, and we're actually doing high labor work where I'm making money. Certainly making enough money to justify whatever I'm paying him. And then you kind of just ride like that for a minute and get a bead on it, as long as he's able to come to work, be at work on time, and then all the little intangibles that you can't really see from what somebody tells you. You got to put them in the truck with me, and then I know. It just doesn't, it's not rocket science or nothing, for sure. And that's how, and that's really the only way I know to screen employees. Yeah, you can do all the background stuff on them and everything, but that still doesn't tell you a lot, you know. It ain't like, you know, they're trying to get a you know, $100,000 a year job or nothing. And usually there's a reason why they're in the spot they're in. I guarantee if Chad hadn't been pressuring him about the status of a license, the status of you know, a vehicle, and you know, everything, then the guy wouldn't have quit. He would have rode that wave, and that's the way it is. He would have rode that good money wave, because he ain't having to pay for transportation. He ain't having to pay you know, to get to and from work. He's making decent money, probably more than what Walmart was paying him, will pay him, and he's not working like you would if you were at Walmart, where he's on his feet 8 or 10 hours a day. There ain't no phone, a plan, and all that there. So with Walmart, you're going to be on time. If you ain't on time, they're probably going to fire you. I mean, I don't know, unless the working world has, the work for the man world has changed since I was working for the man, and it very well could have, because I ain't worked for the man in 20 years. So I don't know, but I knew, and I said it in a bunch of comments back when Chad was telling us some of the stuff that was going on. I knew then that he wasn't going to make it. And what they do is they'll ride the wave, and when you start pressuring them about things they can't do nothing about, or things that they've already lied to you about, where they have to fess up, and when you've really given them every opportunity. I used to have guys come out here and I tell them, just tell me, dude, what the hell's going on, man? And maybe I can help you. Maybe I can guide you. Maybe I can show you the way. And that's what I would tell these young men when they come out here and they lying about their life. Like, I ain't gonna find out if you don't have license. Like, I ain't gonna find out if you don't have a ride. I mean, I'm gonna find out. And then that much more time done went by, and now you're wasting my time, because I'm training you for a job that you're not even going to be here for. Now, I used to look at that real negative and be like, man, but this time of year, I don't look at that as an all negative, because, well, I'm going to make him. He's going to have to work when he comes out here, and I'm going to make money on everything that he does. So. And I'm not going to spend a whole heap of time training him on the lawn stuff, which takes time to get all that down right, how I do things and all that. I'm not going to be training him on all that, because we're not cutting grass. So if you're going to, go through employees, or go through or hire winter employees, there is some, I don't know, well, there is some good in it, right? Well, every time I deal with an employee, I learn something, whether he works out or not. So, whether he's a good guy or not, I learn something about people, and I learn something about, employees. So, and people and their behavior and signs. And if I never had that experience, then I wouldn't know the telltale signs that I know. And Chad knows them too. Chad just wasn't ready to cross them off yet, because, well, the guy was probably watching the videos, and Chad probably didn't want to cross them all the way out yet, So, but in my videos, I can say that about an employee that ain't working for me. But most of the time with the guys out here, I have to when I end up having to fire them, because they're going to ride that wave until the wave can't be rode no more, and that's what they do. And he would have done the same thing if Chad hadn't kept pressuring him. And who knows? He might not have even got a job at Walmart. You never know. That's so true. He might have just told Chad that to get out of what? The lie that he created for himself in the very beginning. If it had been straight with Chad, it might have worked out the same, but, I can respect a guy that's honest with me about his, shortcomings. And, especially with a young man trying to do better, blah, blah, blah. I don't mind, I try to help him best I can. That makes sense. We're not going to enable him, but I try to help him, guide him, if nothing else. And then I know that, okay, you're good for this type, you're good for this work, this kind of work, but you're not going to be good for me in the lawn maintenance season. You know, you're not going to be good for me in that, because you're not going to be able to be reliable enough, because you don't have a ride. And you know, at Walmart, probably the same thing's going to happen. Not going to be able to be at work on time. He's not going to make it. So I'm pulling up down here, y'all.